Hello, faith leaders, and welcome to Breaktime. Philippians 2:13 says this, "For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose." Now, I challenge you to go back and listen to yesterday's video because it says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. But here's how we do it. We do it by allowing God, for it is God. Did you get that? Do you hear what Paul's saying? For it is God who is at work in you to will and to act. You know, he's the one that sits at the will of our heart and says, here I am, go this way, make this decision. He's the one that is sitting there prompting our will to say yes to his will. And then we get to the point where we can get, like Jesus had, he was the Father, but he shows us this perfect tension, in the Garden of Gethsemane that he had with the Father. And, but then he wanted this to pass, but then he said, not my will, but your will be done. Because sometimes our will, what we're choosing, isn't the best that God is choosing for us. And then on the other end, we see, oh yeah, that was your purpose. That was what you chose to do in that time where I was asking this cup to pass from me. And this bad thing did not happen to me. And I was trying to pray my way out of it. But now in the midst of it, can't you see as you look back how God uses the worst of circumstances in your life to have his purpose and his will, what he's designing you and I to be, to work out. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so sometimes my will, and I don't know, I'm sure this is true about you as well, gets in the way of God's will. And it's God's will inside of us that is acting, that wants to respond. And so when Paul's saying work out your salvation, he's saying work out of the voice that you know is the Spirit's voice, that God in you is pushing you through, pushing you to and you know what is so amazing? It's the divine choice. We still have a choice and a will. But when we work out of God's will, we're working out of our salvation. Isn't that amazing? And so, even in the midst of your jobs, there's going to be many times where your will is going to rub up against what God's will is working in you. But when we work out of our salvation, when we work out of truly who we are, we're working out of the best will and purpose for our lives. And you know what? It may not always feel good, and it may not always sense like it doesn't feel good. The flesh is screaming no. But at the same time, when you're on the other end of allowing your will to become the Father's will, you see what he's trying to do. And you certainly understand that it is the best. It's the best. And so some of you might be in some tough situations, but here's the answer to your tough situation. Allow God's will to become your will. Not my will, but your will. Say yes to the will of God that you know is in there, and you will see his purposes coming out of you in such divine ways that you're going to transform the places that you're in, simply because you are allowing his purpose to live out of you. Wow, isn't that amazing? You, my friend, have a blessed day.